All right, guys. Hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully everything is working okay. Let me double check my meters before I dive into this since I did a bunch of changes. So it does appear as though I'm sending audio. So give me a thumbs up if you actually can hear me. And we'll jump into everything. Looks like we got a few people on already. I'm going to turn my volume down just a tad. Sound okay. Old Shawnee Road says the sound is good. So hopefully it is, because guys, I've been spending so much time trying to fix audio problems. It's been driving me up the wall. I think I finally found the solution. It wasn't cheap, but I think it works. So if the if the audio is synced with my mouth and you guys don't hear any background noise, then I think we're okay. So tonight's topic, and let me get over here. Is going to be talking about confronting smear campaigns, narcissistic smear campaigns. And this can take on a bunch of different forms, either through divorce and through family court, but also in other aspects of your life. So I think it's a really good discussion that that we can that we can have on this. But I do want to, one thing that I think I probably should be doing on a routine basis, or at least when I start videos, is to do a little disclaimer. I know most of you guys know this already, but I am not a therapist, nor am I an attorney. So all of my opinions and advice are from my own personal experience and should not be construed as professional therapeutic advice or professional legal advice. So with that out of the way, and I think I probably should formalize that a little bit more and add that more often. I think, excuse me, I think that would be a good thing. So let me jump over here and see who all we have online, and I'm gonna have to make it bigger so I can read it since I'm not as, wrong button. My eyes just don't work the way they used to. So I'm just checking oh, Debbie's even on. Oh, cool. And let me go back here. Okay, so let me scroll back up to the top. I think I will just say, if you aren't hearing or hearing, I got to spell hearing right, hearing or seeing me, please refresh your browser. I think I've only had that work once to where it didn't have to do that. So anyways, we have with us James F. So welcomes, James. I just can't, you always have interesting commentary, so looking forward to that. Old County Road is online. Dawn Elizabeth is online. As I mentioned, Debbie is on. Looks like you guys were chatting with her more today than I got to talk to her, which isn't technically true because we did talk on the phone a little bit. Lynn Kent, welcome to the channel and welcome to the live show. I don't think I have seen you on before, but welcome to the channel and to the live stream. And let's see, who else do we have? Phil Smith is online. So, hey, Phil, glad you could jump on. And let me see. Who else do we have here? Shane. Oh, I haven't seen. I think, Shane, you've been here before. It's kind of a small name, so it could be somebody else, but welcome nonetheless. Tony Davis is online. Hey, Tony, glad you could jump on. And I think, I don't know if she's on yet, but Leslie's supposed to be jumping on as well. Oh, wait a minute, maybe she is on. Spiritually Empowered. Oh, she did make it. Okay, so Spiritually Empowered, Leslie is online. And I'll try to show another book that she has that I think you guys could really benefit from. Let's see. Fatty Malin. Welcome to the channel and welcome to the show. You definitely seem new. Taylor Savage is online with a question, and so I'll grab that and we'll hit that here in a little bit. I'll put it in one of the pre-slides. Get this over here. Ooh, might help if I hit the right button. There we go. Let me just delete these. See, I should have done all this pre-stuff before, but, why do that when you could do it all live? All right. Okay. So Taylor, I have your question in the queue. So when we get to the question part of it, if I miss it for some reason, just put it back out there. And let's see, we got Ginger Weatherby Meraki. And you know what? I got to change the font on this because it's not easy to read. It looks really great until you're trying to figure out what the letters are. Then that's just not great. And I'm trying to scroll back up. So we got Cigar Box Skinny McConaughey. Says, thank you for sharing your hope. Well, thanks for jumping on the live stream. And I'm glad it's helping. And I know I've been interacting with you a little bit on the comments, so it's good to see you on a live show. See, I'm going to try something. I'm going to try this. Let's see if this works. This may not work, but maybe it will. I'm going to see if I can. There we go. Oh my God. I don't know if you guys heard that, but maybe I can actually, so Ginger Weatherby Marcotte. See, I can actually use my computer to try to help with names. I'm going to have to try that. All right. We got Lisa Webster on, says, hi, Dwayne. Good to be here again. Glad you're back. Kira Bright's on. Hey, Kira, glad you could jump on. Edward Barry's on. Says, back again. Nice to be in this community again. Glad to have you. Haven't seen you in a while. Okay, so I guess Dawn couldn't hear me for a little bit. Sarah Steele, I haven't seen you on in a while, so welcome back. Okay, so here's the thing. If you guys are on the newsletter, excuse me, I sent out in the newsletter talking about dealing with and confronting smear campaigns. And this came up because I got an email. It was a really rough email. It was from a new subscriber, but a new viewer of the channel. And she was asking for advice on her situation, and her situation was really bad. She'd moved locations, ended up moving back in with her mom, and in a new area. It's a smaller town. People are, she's sticking out like a sore thumb as a new person. The local law enforcement is harassing her. And then her mom, of all people, is actually working an active smear campaign to turn her kids against her, or the grandkids against their mom. And just basically, it's just this tragic situation. And there wasn't so much advice I could give, but there are some techniques that work really well on dealing with this. And we all know that the wrong way, even though at the time it doesn't feel like it, to deal with it is to confront it emotionally and to vigorously try to defend yourself. And if you guys are hearing the email notifications and stuff, let me see if I can put my do not disturb on, because that would get kind of annoying. And I don't know if you guys heard that or not. Anyways, but the problem is when you aggressively try to defend your position that it's wrong and the other person is attacking you, the problem is that it makes us look unstable. It actually makes the smear campaign seem more legitimate, because we're undermining our own integrity. And integrity is not the right word. I'm trying to remember what the right word is. But what am I trying to say? Your reputation. And the problem is the more that you attack it by saying they're wrong. And this works. This works when you're dealing with your kids. This works if you're dealing with work stuff, all these different things. And typically what happens is a person finds your weakness. They find something that you typically do. If you get angry, they can focus on that. Or if you are absent-minded, or you were late for things, or you can run down this list, and they start focusing on that. Now, granted, typically in a narcissistic, abusive situation, it's a little worse, right? They're basically really attacking your character and really attacking, your sanity and your credibility. And the issue with that is the first thing you have to do is you have to figure out what in the world are they trying to accomplish? What is their well, you know what their goal is. Their goal is to destroy you, but why and what are they trying to accomplish and how are they trying to do it? What are they saying to accomplish that? Like I just mentioned some examples. And the thing with that is if you, as soon as you realize what they're trying to say, and in the letter, in the newsletter, I used a couple of examples. One of the examples I'll mention right now, and I've mentioned it before, but it's very pertinent for our situation, typically with what we're dealing with, and that was the estrangement from me from my son. And the ex was really pushing that, really driving a wedge between my son and I. And initially it was worse. I've already talked about a lot about the techniques I used with him to try to mitigate that. But even once that was being mitigated, she was continuing to do it, pushed to have him go to a therapist or a psychologist, or psychiatrist actually, and a therapist. And when they initially were going to put him on medication, I said, okay, you know, the guy wouldn't talk to me. I made an appointment, went down there to chat with him. And in that initial conversation, the main thing that he said, he goes, well, you know, your son has an estranged relationship with his biological father, which I thought was brilliant. And, you know, and he goes, and sometimes, you know, these kids just need to live with one parent, mom, right? So the whole thing was to push that narrative that this 50-50 custody wasn't working. It was bad for the kids. It was killing them. That's what she used to tell me, is it's killing the kids being around you. And so that was a narrative that was being pushed. So the way I dealt with that is, you know, so he already had in his mind that I'm a bitter, angry, emotionally abusive, the stereotypical guy in a divorce, right? Now, if I went in there and I just said, oh, she's a psycho and she's making all these things up and she's just trying to destroy everything and it's all not true, that response is going to basically back up his thinking, or what the flying monkey and the surrogates are doing. It's like, oh, okay, wow, yeah, okay, I see this now. And this whole thing works even in a work environment, right? When someone's targeting you like that, when you're interacting with either, not so much the person that's doing it, because you're not going to convince them, but the other people that are around it, you have to not approach it as in like you're trying to defend yourself with them, but it's like logically pull it back and say, okay, like in this situation, I basically said, all right, I think there's a lot more going on here. You need to read the custody evaluation. And I even use logic. I'm like, hey, you know, yesterday we had an IEP, individual education plan for my son. I've talked about him before having a disability. And I'm like, look, here's the report where every teacher is saying he's a well-adjusted joy kid to have in class. You know, how is your assessment that he has a bad relationship with me, which technically what I just said had nothing to do with that. But the second part of it was he was saying he had ADHD, he needed to be on medication and all these things. I'm like, how do you reconcile this report that says one thing and, you know, what you're hearing, what you've heard before? And I said, and then secondary part of that is like, look, if I do have an estranged relationship with my son, how do we fix it? That's the point of it, right? The therapy is to have him come to terms with it, and if we can fix it, to fix it. And he's like, well, yeah. I said, okay, how do we do that? You know, I will right now sign a thing so that you can coordinate and work with my therapist to coordinate. I mean, if you need to tell them something that I'm doing wrong, that maybe I don't understand, or maybe I'm in denial of, or whatever, to help me fix it. Now, see, the point of this is to basically peel back the layer of the onion and to demonstrate that I wasn't that person that I was portrayed to be. Okay. And okay, so it's like, all right, what the hell does this have to do with you? Well, it's the same thing, right? If you are being portrayed as the uninvolved parent, you get involved, right? You do it with actions. You know, if like for one of the things I did, you know, the stereotype thing is dads don't know anything. They don't know the teachers. They don't know the doctors. They don't know any of that stuff, right? So you figure it out. I mean, I actually loaded all the birthdays, because I'm bad with dates. I loaded everything in my phone so I could have it readily available. So if someone asked me what their birth dates were, or what, you know, who their teachers were, or all that stuff, I had all that information, right? And the way you confront that, the way you really attack it, is you start to do things to demonstrate that it's not true. It's actions versus words. And see, here's the problem that a lot of us get into. And I know I'm missing a lot of comments, and I'll scroll back through them here in a minute. But when you're just saying words, and if you don't have the actions to back it up, it doesn't mean anything, right? You can sit there and defend yourself, but I'm not this way. It's not true. I am a good dad. I am a good mom. I do, it doesn't mean anything. If someone's already, if your reputation has already been smeared, or your character is already being undermined, you have to demonstrate that it's not true. You have to have that person think, oh, okay, you're a piece of crap. And then when they see an interaction with you, they go, wow, that wasn't what I thought. And the thing is that although it seems like the narcissist has a lot of control and ability to manipulate, which they do, a lot of it is all superficial. So as long as you can demonstrate on a reoccurring basis, you can't expect that you're going to do one thing and it's going to change. It takes a little bit of time that you'll start to change people's perceptions of you. And now I've even done this in the work environment where I've had employees who were being attacked by other managers and other employees. And as long as you can see what they're trying to do, what weakness they're trying to exploit, then you can start to attack it. Now, I want to see what you guys think about this. And I know I've just been kind of going on this monologue, so definitely want to hear your opinions of it. If maybe I haven't dove into this too much, or maybe it doesn't even make sense. I'm hoping that I'm communicating it in a way that's simple enough to where you can kind of go, hey, wait a minute, this actually makes sense. And one last thing I'll say before I start really diving through the comments is I remember this is a work situation. I had somebody who was really angry with me, and I was chatting with her about something, and it was one of those things where she's like, how do you do this? How do you, disarm these situations? And I said, quite honestly, what you do is when someone's trying to provoke you, you look at what they're trying to get you to do, and you do the opposite. If they're trying to get you angry and trying to get you to explode, you remain calm and you calm yourself down, right? If it's that type of thing. You figure out what's going on. I mean, another thing I had happen at work is was not answering my work phone because I had one boss who didn't care. Then a new boss came in and he did care. And, after a short period of time, I was being attacked because I wasn't ever answering the phone, and it turned into a joke, and then it turned into a problem, right? All right, let me check and see, excuse me, where we are at. I'll look at the comments that are up on the screen right now. So Cigar says, staying rational and not contacting her is driving her insane. It scrolled right off the screen, like it always does. Let me try to figure out where that was. I'm giving her what she wants, and she still wants to fight. Yeah, and Cigar, the thing on that is that they want the fight, right? And one thing you guys will notice is going no contact or not responding does drive them crazy, and it's going to make things worse before it gets better. So you have to anticipate that, because they're going to try to continue the provocation to get you to respond. Let's see. Spiritual Power says, staying constant with calm behavior is critical. It's hard to not want to defend ourselves. Yeah, it's counterintuitive. I mean, she's right on. I mean, Leslie's right on with that, because, your initial thing is you defend yourself. You're like, that's crap. If I don't defend myself, everyone's going to think it's true. If my ex says I'm a monster, if I don't run out and say I'm not a monster, no, everyone will think that it's true. Which is really weird, because as I'm saying those words, and hopefully as you guys are listening to those, you can realize, wow, that doesn't make a lot of sense. But in the moment, it does. In the moment, it's like, we have to defend. We have to answer every email. We have to go to everyone and say, look what's happening. This is, look at all this crap. And it's really tough. Eddie says, oh, hey, Eddie Knows is on. Hey, Eddie, haven't seen you in a while. Hopefully you're doing well. Says, the thing I haven't learned how to do is forgive people who aren't sorry. Well, And Eddie, the thing on that is you get to the point where you're forgiving. When you forgive, you're not forgiving them. You're letting it go, right? Because if you don't, it just grabs onto you and just like, whoops, lays its claws and tentacles into you to where you just can't get away. That's what, and it's tough. I mean, it took me a long time to get to the point where I can say that I've let it go and I've, basically forgiven it. But what I will say is, I don't necessarily, you're not necessarily giving the person a pass that it's okay. That's like, oh, okay, well, I forgive you for being evil, so come on back over and let's be evil again, right? That's not the thing. But you have to at some point let it go, because if you don't, it will consume and destroy you. I mean, I knew that going in, and it still took me years to really come to terms with that. All right, let me scroll down a little bit. I see Bears is on. So welcome, Bears. Glad you could jump on. And then he says to Cigar, it makes them implode. Absolutely. Dang it, it just... Where did it go? Everything just scrolled right on by again. All right, there we are. James F. says, Dwayne, I enjoy your rants. Stay on your soapbox as long as you want. That's funny. I appreciate that. Debbie had said, it takes inner strength to handle the smear campaign. Bear said, staying calm and rational, super important, but difficult. It's really difficult because you see that someone's attacking something that's really important to you. I mean, and it could be your kids. It can be your relationship with your kids, your future, your reputation, your career. I mean, all those different things. And it is really hard to deal with that. And unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, in my professional environment, I used to have to deal, well, actually I still have to deal with a lot of very narcissistic, evil people who just take joy in messing with people, destroying people. It was like a sport, and learning how to deal with that to survive and be able to succeed in that environment. The only really good thing about that I could say for me is that when my divorce started, I had, decades of experience dealing with that. Now, it was still really hard to deal with it on such a personal level, but I actually approached it the way I approach work situations to help me stay as calm as possible. And I was not calm. All right, let's see what else we got going on here. I see Don has a question. Says, Dwayne, what if you do not respond and they still lose it? You still maintain your okay. And what I was just mentioning that, Don, is that when you don't, right, you're going to go no contact, or you're going to go hybrid no contact, or you're going to change the way you interact with these people. You can expect, especially maybe not so much in a work environment, but in a relationship environment, you can expect that they are going to increase. They're going to ramp it up to try to force you to respond. It's exactly what happened in my situation. I've often talked about how I would I would have an epiphany and a realization. And I would be like, man, I got her figured out. I get it now. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go, I'm going to not respond to this. And my life is going to be smooth sailing. Well, as soon as she realized that, the tactic changed. So, Don, that's what happens is the tactic continues to change. And you guys need to anticipate that. But it's part of their, they ramp it up. You have to maintain your stability on it. And well, like Chris just says, as it's rolling all over the place, you have to stay cool. Don't let them push your buttons. And they are going to push your buttons, and they're going to continue to push them harder. Actually, Chris knows about this because he's dealing with it now, where I think he's had some epiphanies where he thinks things are going a certain way, and then it blows apart. Just let them implode on themselves. Here's the other benefit of this, guys. Whenever that starts to happen, they start to draw the attention back to themselves. This is even the deal in a work environment too. And they start to undermine their own thing. And if they can undermine their own credibility, then when people are saying stuff, it's almost like you do the same thing, right? You calm down, you relax, you let them freak out and have these emotional responses. And you can calmly say, yeah, it's just really, I just don't understand why they do that, right? It's tough. It's not easy. It's freaking annoying. But these are techniques that really do work, and I've used them in my situation with my ex, and I've used them in real life. And okay, so I think this is let me jump back over to Taylor's question. Let's see if this pops up. And, oh, it does. Good. Okay, so Taylor says, question, how do you stop an ex from moving 200 kilometers away with your daughter in a mobility case? Now, Taylor, when you say mobility, are you talking military mobility? Or are you just talking about a move away? And so you might be using different terms. Maybe you're in Canada or the UK. But if you could give me some more detail on that. And what I will say, and if you did, I mean, I could try to look it up. Oh, I see Igna's on. Welcome. Glad you could jump on. So here's the thing on mobility type stuff. Well, see, it depends. There's a lot of parameters on this. Like in my situation, I was worried about my ex taking the kids and moving. And what I did is I filed for divorce because in the United States, or at least in California, as soon as you do that, there's an instant restraining order for a relocation. So it stopped that, and then we had to go through the court thing. So it really depends on what the specifics in your situation, what your court order says, and what rights you actually have. And what I would say is if they are saying I'm moving and you don't want, and you're not game for it, then you need to go to court as quickly as possible to try to stop that. And probably I'll need more information to really understand the specifics. Just to cover for the folks that are military, anybody who's active duty military, you're really in a tough situation because you move so much that a lot of those different rules just aren't necessarily going to help you, right? Because if one parent is PCS, a permanent change of station to a new location, that's part of the whole process, and it's not a typical, like, okay, I'm in California now, I decided to move to Minnesota and I'm taking the kids, right? There's more to it than that. Okay, so David said to Igna, so wrong. She sent it to me and asked why. She wanted my family to know who they were dealing with. Ooh, what did they send? Don, or Dave, what was sent? My guess is you're talking about a custody evaluation, which, hold on, let me get over here. That is, actually, that is not good. Let's see. Actually, they can be punitively held liable for that if that's what you're talking about. All right, let me see if I can find your comment, Dave. Okay, I'm not sure the specifics of what you were talking about, Dave. So, I tell you what, let me look for questions to see if I've missed, because I know I probably missed one. So I already talked about Taylor's. Whoops, looks like I got my phone making noise. So let me turn it down. So Don had said, why the smear campaign besides not being able to get help? Well, the reason, they're trying to accomplish their goal, right? They have an agenda, and it's even whether it's work. Oh, so Dave said, no, not custody related. Yeah, when you said that, Dave, I thought with the way I read that is I figured it was a custody evaluation, which I know when we did one, basically we were told multiple times that sharing or disclosing that information you can be sued and imprisoned and all kinds of stuff with it. So they really make an issue about not sharing that with anyone. Okay, now I just lost my train of thought. So let me see where I was at. Oh, so why the smear campaign besides not being able to get help? Okay, they're trying to accomplish whatever it is their goal is, right? They're trying to either paint you as a monster to get sympathy, to get supply from people, to turn the kids against you, to turn other people who might turn against you and write affidavits saying, how bad of a person you are. If it's a working situation, they may not just be trying to undermine you for your job and your career. It's bottom line. It's to accomplish some nefarious goal what they're trying to get, and it's pretty nasty. Typically, a narcissistic personality type will do whatever they need to embellish things, take things out of context to accomplish what they're trying to accomplish. All right, let me go to the next one. Okay, let me double check. No, okay. Let's see. Yeah, I see a comment where Debbie was telling My Serenity to put question in front of it. So maybe the next one is, no, that wasn't. Okay, so that didn't work. Let me see what My Serenity it said. Oh, okay. My Serenity said, "Hi, Dwayne. I can't get the newsletter and subscribe several times. What do I do when my kids smear campaign me on Facebook to family? They are so toxic. I'm abused every day by them." Okay, the first thing, a lot of people don't get the email and the newsletter because it goes into their spam folder. So double check that. You might have to add me in as a contact. So in other words, just, add a contact for Dwayne with the email is Dwayne at dadsurvivingdivorce.com so that it thinks that you are, so it realizes that you know me. Okay. So, all right, you're back to your question on, what, let me, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm going to, cause this is a good one. And, I want to, let me highlight this. I'll get the newsletter part out of here though. Okay, let me go over here and hit this. And come on. All right. What do I do when my kids smear campaign me on Facebook to family? They are so toxic. I'm abused every day by them. All right. Okay. Your best bet on this, in my opinion, is to get off of Facebook. Don't have them on your list. And basically do black hole thinking concept with them on that. It's tough when it's your family, it's your kids and they're doing it. But, at some point you can't control what other people are going to do, right? Even your own kids. And if your own kids, and there's a lot of people on this channel whose kids have turned against them. I was actually talking to a friend of mine at, actually it's interesting because I was just having this conversation with a person at work today. And it was the same thing. Her situation was horrific. She's lost custody of her kids. Her ex played a mean, vicious, evil game. And it's even to the point now where her ex and his wife will send notes like, "Hey, you should come see the kids in a couple of weeks." And she'll do things to travel to go see them. And then when they get there, or when she gets there, it's like, "Oh, well, no, we didn't ever said that." Right. So what's happening is the other family is corrupting the kids to the point where they think that their mom doesn't care about them, is completely messed up, and they've completely bought into it. The only interaction she now gets with her children is when they call to yell and just basically be mean to her. They do the same thing where they post crappy things on Facebook about, you have a kid and stuff like that. And, in that situation, you at some point, you can still remain available, but you cut your losses and you don't put yourself continually in those toxic situations. And I know it's not easy, and I know it's not fair. What I would do is keep all the information to show that what you did try to do, how it's not true. And the only opportunity you're really going to have are two things. One is if they're saying it to other people and they're being, this is where if you have a support group and when they're saying my mom is a piece of garbage and someone else can say, hey, that's not true, right? But you can't say it. Unfortunately, in our situations, whenever we're the target of those things, we don't have the ability to confront it because it just looks like we're arguing against it. You have to have another person who would be able to say, hey, that's not true. Your mom does care about you. Your mom isn't this way. And you don't know what's happened, right? And I don't know how old your kids are. Okay. My Serenity for Life says, what did she do to lose custody? Well, what she did is she was in the reserves. And what happened is during Desert Shield and Desert Storm, she was called up to deploy. Kids went to their dad and for the deployment, like it should happen. And he used that opportunity to manipulate the situation, to corrupt the kids, and actually, to be perfectly honest, she ultimately got her parental rights terminated and his new wife, kind of like what's happened with Alex's situation. And but the difference is they still mess with her, right? They've terminated her parental rights, but then they'll still call the ex-husband and the new wife and will say, hey, the kids need braces. Don't you care about your kids? Right? I mean, it is just evil what these people are doing, right? I mean, it's one thing whenever you do it and you're just like, haha, bye-bye, you're out of the picture, but they're continuing to try to abuse the situation. And I really feel for her. She's actually getting ready to go to the graduation for her daughter. So she took a whole week off and her daughter to go out to travel to a different state and got lodging and everything. And daughter's not going to see her. It's like, oh, well, I'm busy. I can't see you before. I can't see you after. Then I'm going to, going out of the country for my graduation trip. So, I guess I'll see you at the graduation, if you show up, that type of thing. I mean, it's horrible. So it's tough. And you have to remain. Oh yeah. Susie says karma will hit them hard. And you know what? And I was talking with someone earlier about this very thing is that these people, okay, these people seem like they get away with it, but they're drawing nothing but chaos and just darkness to them. Right. And we have the opportunity to make changes in our lives, to release that anger and focus our attention on better things, on a better life, on positive, basically focusing on the light. They're trapped in this nightmare, right? And then when you have kids, you get an opportunity basically to try to stay there and be available so that if the kids come and talk to you. Now, and I'm not going to make this a conversation on that because I know I've talked about it before and we could do a whole nother live show and a whole nother video again on that. So let me see where we are with the comments and stuff. Eddie says what to Dave? Dave, that's just evil. How they use the kids as weapons and will crush their own child's emotions to hurt us. It's because they don't care, and it backs up their smear. So when they're crushing the kids, when they're destroying the relationship with the other parent in their mind, this is my opinion, they are saying, see, they're not looking at it that they're destroying it. They're still projecting that it's the other person that's destroying it, even though I think they do know what they're doing. Shane says, Amy, never stop fighting for what you feel is right and just. And let's see. Amy says, I have 5 children, 4 with him, ages 5, 4, and 2, and 3 months. I'm terrified for them. He was so abusive and the judge still gave him 50-50. He does with everyone. Yeah, see, and here's the problem, Amy, and this is where I talk a lot about realistic expectations. And just because we say somebody is abusive, unless here's the problem. Everybody says everyone's a piece of crap. Every family court thing, somebody is saying the other person is a turd and shouldn't be around the kids. So nobody has any credibility. So unless you have specific evidence that demonstrates it, they're not going to believe it. And if you're going, in my opinion, if you're going in and there's not a move away and you're going in for 80-20 or full custody, unless you have documented police reports and extra documentation to demonstrate it, as long as that person is not acting negatively in front of the judge, they're not going to believe it. Typically that's what's going to happen. And the other part of this is the system has been so corrupted where people, the primary custodial parent has done that. Hell, my ex tried to do that to me. I was a piece of crap. I didn't care about the kids. I didn't care about the kids. I only cared about money. I was never around. I knew nothing about the kids. I only wanted them because the only thing I cared about was money, right? So her thing is that every other weekend is fine, but I'm a piece of crap. I was physically, what did she say? I was physically and verbally abusive to the kids, and emotionally abusive. Yeah. I mean, the whole gamut. There's no proof of it, right? And look, I have 50-50 custody, So that's really the problem, is if you can't demonstrate it, you're really tough. Well, and you say you do have, okay, so I'm glad I got the restraining order. I do have evidence, 7 police reports. Were the police reports against you or was it against the kids? See, because that's the other thing. If the restraining order is against you, a lot of times they'll look at it and say, okay, well, maybe he does stuff against his ex, but he's never done anything against the kids. So, or you just got a judge that basically has dealt with this so many times that they think it's all crap. Because here's the thing. These things are highly emotional, right? It takes an incredibly strong person to be smeared and have a character assassination occur to where you don't respond, right? I mean, it takes an incredible amount of person. I mean, I remember a few times thinking the things that I was being accused of, it's like, I'm being accused of these things and I never even got to do them. I mean, I read a comment the other day where somebody was talking about, their ex saying that they were physically abusive. And I mean, it was a joke comment, and it was, and the comment was like, "Hey judge, can I have 5 minutes to make her accusations true?" Right? And see, that's part of the problem is that there's so much lies in the family court system that it's like, who do they believe? So Amy says, him against me, that was a problem. But I know in my heart, that I'm not, that he's going to target them. And the problem is let me back up. The other prevailing comment, and I remember this happening during the custody evaluation, the evaluator had made a comment. I'm trying to remember how it was said. It was about me, and it was like the evaluator had said to the ex, "Hey, Miss Dwayne, it appears as he's changed, and we're hearing comments from the kids that he's changed." And her comment back was, "Well, I have never seen it, so all I know is what I've seen, and that's the only thing that's true," right? And my point is that there's also a comment, and her secondary comment was, "Well, hey, in the middle of a nasty divorce, emotions get high, people get angry, things happen, and they calm down, and people do change, right?" Now, we know with narcissistic types that they don't. And I mean, that's why I'm still dealing with the same stupid crap 6 years later. Dee Dee says, "Do you think they feel bad for hurting the kids for what they did?" No, I don't think they think about it. I think that a person with NPD or strong narcissistic traits, they can't confront that, and it attacks their illusion. So they're not even gonna. It's something that never happened. They'll just erase it like it never happened. So Amy, the problem or the issue in your situation is, and I hate to say this, but it's just a matter of your ex destroying his relationship with the kids, right? And if and so here's the, I guess, the good and the bad on it is, if he is as evil and bad as you say, more than likely he is going to start targeting the kids. And as that happens, the kids are going to get forced to make a decision, right? This is where overt people sometimes help the situation, because they push the kids to the point where they do want to make a decision. Conversely, if it's not true and was just focused at you, then it won't happen. The bad part could be like the situation I'm in, where the other person is covert and really manipulative and isn't overt about what they're doing. So the kids balance it, right? And that's the situation. I mean, come on, guys. I have a 19-year-old in my, not in my house today, but 19, right? He graduated last summer, still transitions with his sisters. He's like, oh, I have to go to mommy's on Monday. Why? Well, because I have to. And then I have to come back on Wednesday. So it's one of those things where he is so scared to death to alter anything that he's planning on staying in the same mode. And to be perfectly honest, my gut feeling is that my middle daughter, who has a little over a year until she graduates, my gut feeling is, unless she moves away, is going to do the exact same thing. If she stays local and goes to a community college, I unfortunately expect that she's going to do the same thing. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe she'll turn around and say, hey, Dad, I want to live with you, or hey, Mom, I want to live with you. I don't know. But what I've heard so far is, let's see, like Lisa says, my 18-year-old son doesn't go over to his dad's anymore. Typically, that's what happens. When someone's like, I don't want to be there, it's not a good environment. They don't want to, when they have the ability to have a decision, they don't do it anymore. And I know I've missed some comments. So Amy, let me look back and see if I missed anything, but I know that that's not great information. I'm not telling you, oh, well, here's the magic pill that'll just fix all your problems and change everything. And the magic pill, which isn't really one, is let the ex dig his own grave and destroy the relationship with his kids, to where they're basically finally saying, I can't do this anymore. Remember earlier when I was talking about the situation with my son? That's exactly what my ex was trying to do. She was trying to play this thing that I was just this evil ogre, and that the kids didn't want to be around me. Yeah, sure, they love me, but I stressed them out and I was mean to them, so they should only spend a little bit of time. But it never happened. Okay, so My Serenity for Life says, question continued, he admitted to his violent acts in court. Well, my guess is the way that would work is he would say, yes, I did do those things. I was really angry. It was really stressful in the marriage and the relationship. Me and my ex and I are before the ex, whatever, the plaintiff and I have a really bad relationship, and yes, it caused me to push my buttons, and I responded negatively. But, Your Honor, I've taken anger management classes now, and I've joined a support group, and I haven't had any outbursts. And I've done all these other things. And they go, okay, you're good to go, right? And kind of what I just said is kind of what I was talking about earlier in this video on dealing with a smear campaign, right? Not that you're smearing him, but And this is where this information can be used for bad, is if you know what is coming or what people are thinking, and you deal with it head on in an appropriate manner, it takes it away. For instance, what I will say, during the evaluation, my ex had said, Dwayne hates women. And I hate to say it, but when I was a lot younger, the bad situation I had with my mom did make me have negative opinions, right? So we're talking 25 years ago, right? And it was like, oh wow, and I was like, the evaluator brought it up, and to further back this up, the first time I met with her, the evaluator tried to push my buttons, right? I mean, she was just like, boop, 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 just trying to get me to get pissed off. That one was for you, James. And I didn't. So if you're dealing with a high functional narcissistic type who is evil, but who can play the game and do that stuff, then they can potentially do it. Most of the time, it they expose themselves. If it's legitimate, they can't do it. And you say he was violent to the kids. The same thing. You know, and again, that fell along lines with what my ex was trying to say to me, that I yelled at the kids. And I mean, what am I going to say? Am I going to lie? No, I yelled at the kids. Did I use profanity with the kids? Yes. You know, am I proud of it? No. You know, and see, and that's the thing. And more than likely, Serenity, is your ex approached it as in like, yes, I did those things. Yes, I now realize that they were wrong. This is what I've done to fix it, and this is why it's better, right? And since divorce is all convoluted lies and exaggeration, this person, your ex, is making all these comments saying how what they've done to fix it, and without any other extenuating circumstances. And you know, maybe I can't remember how old your kids are, but unless there's some mitigating circumstance, they're gonna. Lately, guys, court is pushing 50-50. If you are thinking that you're just gonna walk in, like if you're the stay-at-home parent and you're thinking, you know what, I'm stay-at-home parent. Oh, you know what? Igna says I'm buffering. So let me check. Okay, so I'm green on here. Let me come over here and look and see if it's saying, ooh, yeah, it's saying I'm having some stream problems. So, sorry about that, guys. I hate it when that happens. Okay, let me get back over here. So, and I'm losing my train of thought, so sorry about that. Excuse me. Ooh, God, I did that right in the microphone. Sorry about that. Hey, Cindy's on, says, hi, hello, Spiritually Empowered. I love your videos, especially your real talk. Thank you. Yeah, you guys got to check Spiritually Empowered out. And she is making a lot more. I'm going to take a pause. A lot more videos on YouTube. I hope you guys can hear me. You know what? I'm going to just assume you can hear me. Spiritually Empowered. Spiritually Empowered. There we go. And I'm doing that so you guys can see it. There she is. She updated. Oh, that's funny. I like that picture. That's a good one, Leslie. And yeah, so she's putting a lot more videos out. So I need to talk with her. I need to help her with making her landing page a little bit better, because she can make playlists that'll make this show up better. But you guys should check it out. Really great information. She also does live shows on Facebook, and I never really know how to get the Facebook thing. Actually, what I am going to try to do, let's see, what did I miss? And I mentioned I wanted to talk about what did I just do? Wrong button. All right. She had posted, I think she posted it on my thing. Where is it? No, not there. Oh, sorry, guys. Come on. Let me look at it over here. Maybe I can find it. How do I find this? Man, I see. This is why I hate Facebook. I can never find things. It's always complicated. Because she tagged me. Let me see if I can find. There it is. Okay, this isn't exactly what she sent, but this is another book she has, Spiritually Untamed, 120 days dedicated to you co-creating your dream life. And it's on Amazon. So I'll pull this up. I would, check her stuff out. Check out her book. I think she has another. So you can, wait a minute. Oh, okay. So she's got a different name, but you can see that's her right on the back. And yeah, show her some love and check out her stuff and support her channel. Anyways, so Oh, did I miss something with the boop? I see Debbie says to Amy. Well, boop is an inside joke, meaning, and I normally go boop. Oh, I do boop, but I always do it a little bit louder. Boop. But it's just, it's one of those things like we're being poked in the eye, and I don't know. If as you stay on the, or if you stay on this channel, which I hope you do, you will notice that I have a tendency to add sound effects into things just because I can't help myself. Oh, squirrel. Yeah, I don't know where that squirrel thing came from. I think it was from a movie. Basically, just talking about somebody who's easily distracted, right? All right, let me scroll up a little bit. So I hope you guys check out Leslie's channel, and like I said, give her some internet love and support. She has some really great talks that are good, and I wish, it seems like everybody I want to follow does their live streams or their lives when I cannot watch them. It's really frustrating. I think a couple of times, like if I take a day off, I can jump on or watch one of Leslie's or even Angie's. I mean, I hardly ever can get on Angie. Oh, James says, I like when Dwayne does sound effects in his different voices. It breaks up the heavy topics. Yeah, I try to keep it a little bit. I mean, because we are talking about some pretty serious stuff. Oh, squirrel from the Disney movie What's Up? Okay, and that happens a lot. Doug the dog. Yeah, you're right. Right, exactly. Hold on. I wonder if I can do this. Let me see. Oh man, I don't know if I can. Let's see. I think it's this one. All right, I'm gonna try something.
Speak. Hi there.
Okay.
Did that dog just say hi there?
Oh, yes.
Bruh!
My name is Doug. I have just met you, and I love you. My master made me this collar. He is a good and smart master, and he made me this collar so that I may talk. Squirrel!
Anyway, so that's the squirrel thing. All right. And hopefully I just didn't get myself in trouble. I don't think I did. I don't know. My Serenity for Life says, you're so funny and you make it so light. Hard stuff I'm dealing with right now, and you make me feel better. Yeah, guys, and here's the thing. A lot of this is just about, it's a lot about perspective and priorities, right? And okay, I'm not trying to make this subject overly simple, because I get how frustrating this is, and I get how important it is, right? It's your life, it's your kids, it's your relationship with your kids, it's your finances, it's all those things. But at the end of the day, you have to really take a step back and look at what's really important. And this wasn't easy, right? I mean, I'm not sure. I saw Debbie writing some stuff earlier where she may have hit on this, not hit on this. And the thing is, I could stay, I would have every right, and every one of you has every right to be angry and bitter and just frustrated from what's happened to you and and for me, for what's happened to me. But at the end of the day, does it really, if you stay there, does it help you? That's the thing that happened with me, right? It's like, I used to be so angry, and Debbie can definitely attest to that, that I was so angry at my ex. She's still not my most important or favorite person in the world, meaning my ex, not Debbie. Debbie is high on the priority list. Where's the priority? But for me to get my life back, for me to get some peace and to feel good and to be able to, when it's a beautiful day out, just to be able to take a breath and just appreciate it and have joy for it. And to know that I don't have that toxic, manipulative, subversive being in my life is tremendous, right? And then as you progress and you realize, okay, what's the priority? My priority is my peace, then my relationship with my kids, and well, what's the third one? The third one would be peace again too. But excuse me. That's really my driving thing now, right? And then helping you guys, right, to try to help people get through this. But that's what happens on this is you realize. And somebody was talking about forgiving earlier. I can't remember who said that. Maybe it was I can't remember. But it's like you at one point have to say, okay, that life is over. It's done. The experience, yes, there's some pain. I'm going to have to deal with it. But at what point do I hit the reset? Do I go boop on the reset button and say, I am going to focus on my life now. I'm going to focus on what makes me happy, right? I was talking with, actually, I think I was talking with Debbie earlier today, and we were talking about finances and stuff. And things are better right now than they were before, but there's a lot of stuff. I could still be really angry and really worried and really stressed about money. But what does it accomplish, right? I'm getting to the point where I'm just I'm getting at peace with everything, and just kind of allowing whatever is going to happen, and just finding the simple joy in it, right? Okay, so this plant right here, which is too heavy for me to pick up. My youngest daughter and I are going through this phase where if you've noticed, it's a different plant. We're getting plants, right? And she's really excited about it. And we can go to the store and ooh, look at pots, look at this, right? And it's just simple stuff. And that's the thing, guys, is it's looking at what is the priority and what is really, really important to you. And that is the key. That's the key to all of this. And me thinking about the ex and me worrying about what she's going to do and worrying how the situation, whether she's going to get hers or whether karma is going to take her out is irrelevant. It doesn't matter because it doesn't do anything for me. If she wins, okay, if she won the lottery, would I be angry or frustrated? Yeah, probably. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I think right now, before when I would ask myself that question, I'd be angry. I would be like, oh, I don't care, because her life and your ex's life has nothing. It's I can't say that it has nothing to do with your life, but at this stage when they're out of it, it's only what the power you give them. It's only what you allow them to have control over. And that's the key. And that's why I say a lot to you guys that you just have to realize that they're negative, toxic people, and that's all that they're going to drag to themselves. I see Dee Dee says, do you guys still love your exes after all of this? No, I don't. I used to love my ex. I don't. I know a lot of people out there are still struggling with that because they're tied with, and see, that's part of the problem, right? And I'll back up and I'll say, when I was more here's the weird thing, Dee Dee, I'm glad you said this, is that I think a lot of times when you still do love your ex, when you're still connected, it's like, why can't you love me? What did I do that was so bad? You're in that mindset because they don't give you closure. And you're like, I was a good husband. I had a good job. I provided. I didn't beat anybody. I didn't drink. I did swear, but all these different things, same thing if you're the mom, I was a stay-at-home mom. I took care of the house. I made it so that I didn't cheat. I didn't do all these things. And all this stuff happened. The thing is, I see Tony says, no, I have no feelings for my ex at all. And I think that's what happens is you get to that point. Cigar says, Dee Dee, I don't know how to hate. That's why I hurt so bad. And I think, Cigar, I fell into that category, right? And you guys remember, I've talked about in the past how this whole situation makes us become people we never wanted to be. And we have to change ourselves on how we interact with our exes to protect ourselves. Mike says, I did the year after, then realized I loved who I thought she was, but it was a facade. And Mike, I think that's where a lot of us and I've made a lot of videos about that. And that's the thing. You're in love with that facade or that illusion or what you thought it could be. And after a while, you realize that it was never real. For somebody with strong narcissistic, toxic personality traits, I'm not saying that they're cluster B, borderline personality disorder. I mean, maybe, but most of the time we don't get diagnosis. But toxic people tend to operate in the same way and do the same thing. And it was a facade. They don't know how to love. They don't know how to do that. Wow, that was another soapbox. All right, let me look at the comments and see where we're at. Okay, so Amy says, I struggle with it, but I've come to the terms that I love the idea, not him. Took a long time to realize that. Yeah, and Amy, one of the things that's really, for everybody out there, one of the things that's really frustrating, well, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that are really frustrating, but it's the time. It's how long this takes. It's frustrating. And it's hard because somebody who hasn't been through this, who hasn't been through a toxic environment like this, just doesn't understand. You know, a normal breakup, somebody breaks up, they move on, they're able to be semi-cordial because they're basically, they both still technically care about each other and they're able to give each other closure. Maybe they're even able to be friends or whatever. A narcissistic, toxic personality type will never do that. It's in an instant, you've changed. You've changed. The situation has changed. When they realize that you are no longer a source of supply, that you are no longer going to play their game, that's when the switch flips and they can go from pretending that they care and love about you to like you don't even exist. And then you're left with this gaping hole just ripped out of your chest with your heart just beating, boom, 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 boom. And you don't deal, it blows your mind because it makes no sense whatsoever. Didi says, I agree with you, Dwayne. They don't know how to love. I think it's possible they never learned what love really means. I agree with you on that one. Absolutely. And okay, guys. And that is why that let me pull this up. That's why the absolute thinking video, this one right here, is so critical because it's a framework to remind yourself of that. And what I had to do like what you guys are talking about, I went through those gut wrenching moments where you're just like, you feel like you want to, like the weight of the world is crushing you and you're trying to figure it out. And the whole absolute thinking thing was a framework for me. So whenever I started going, yeah, but I could say, no, Dwayne, it was an illusion. It's not true. At the time in my mind, I'm saying she's NPD. She has narcissistic personality disorder. I'm saying this in my head. I'm not saying this, I'm not, what I'm saying is I'm forcing it in my brain to say, this is the reality, Dwayne. It's not real. She never really loved you. Look at the actions. Look at, not the words, look at the behavior that you dealt with for 20 plus years. Is that the behavior of someone that loves you? No, it's not, right? That's why absolute thinking is so important. And it's why I basically make it my second recommendation or my second tier, right? First is hybrid no contact. Or, I mean, if you want to go farther back, it's no contact, gray rock, hybrid no contact, absolute thinking, and then black hole thinking. And the reason is because all of these things take time to figure out, right? And it's like they build on each other. Once you start doing hybrid no contact, then when you roll in, then when you kind of have that figured out, moving into absolute thinking, because when you are going to have those moments where you're like, no, they're not that bad. It's just a situation. They had to love me, and you start playing that thing. And what happens is initially it's hard and initially it takes days. And then what happens is it starts to click. And when you crash and then you start implementing those techniques, then it starts, you get out of it faster. Okay. What is spiritually empowered said? Someone said she's right. I want to see what she said. Let me get over here. Spiritually, Leslie says, it's funny they don't know how to love, but will tell us we are doing it wrong, crazy making. That is a really great point. That is really true. That's a great point. So, and Shane says, Joe, you have to set strict boundaries as early as possible. Absolutely true. It's so important to having a life after divorce. And then Debbie said to My Serenity, sorry, I saw your post about fear of being on the street. I so hope that you have a local support system. If not, that local resources. Yeah, let me scroll back up for that one. Where is it at? Igna says, I would say I was very, very angry, very, very sad, and finally I just accepted him for what I now know he is, and I no longer feel anything for him. I feel indifferent as long as he stays away from me. Yeah, and that's I would agree with you on that. I'm pretty much the same way on that. All right. Yeah, My Serenity says, I'm really going to be put in poverty. I may lose my kids. I don't have a roof overhead. See, and this is the thing, guys. You have to. The sooner that you can accept your reality and to start making active changes around it, is when you can help yourself. And it's so I'm gonna say it's so easy. It's not easy. It's really tough. And if you're not getting support, and if you don't have resources, you have to start looking at other resources, as in, assistance, welfare, Section 8 housing, those different type of things that may be something that you would have never, ever even considered. And it's tough because a lot of times you have a life that what's what I'm trying to say? You had the illusion of, or not the illusion, you had the reality of what your life was. And when these things happen, it changes. And, this is one reason why I'm really encouraging my kids. I on a reoccurring basis, tell my girls, make sure you're self-sufficient. Make sure you have a career. And I hate to say it, but it's like, being dependent on another person is a really dangerous way to be on. Question, I have no resources and 2 babies. Excuse me. So you're getting food stamps. If you have, then you need to apply for assistance. And if it's, that's what you have to do. And if you can get money for it to help get you on your feet so you can try to get out of it, that's what you have to do. Wow. 8 kids total. Holy cow. Yeah, that's tough. Dee asks if he's paying child support. I'm assuming the answer is no. If you don't have any resources, with 8 kids, no, not yet. Oh, okay. So My Serenity, you're still in the middle of the divorce thing, right? Oh man, sorry guys. So Igna has a question. Let me grab this. I'm on the wrong screen. Let me scroll down here. Oh crap! What did I just do? Uh-oh. I just quit it. Darn it, I closed the app. At least I didn't close the live streaming software. That would have been a drag. All right, let me make this big again so it doesn't mess it up. Keynote. Okay. What? I don't know why it's doing this. There must be a new option where it like pre-buds does the button. What do you do when narcs try to incite triangulation between you and the new supply? You stay away from it. You don't engage. You hybrid no contact, black hole thinking, and you don't enter. You just stay away from them and don't allow it. You set boundaries. It depends on how they're trying to do it. Probably the more typical way is the new supply the one that's actually interacting, basically to interact with on kids, or how is that actually happening, Igna? Or Inga? Inga. I remember you said that before. It's like the Sweden thing. I'm Inga. So, and I always get the letters wrong. So I apologize for that. And hopefully no sound. Is anyone else getting sound, or am I toast? Let me go here, and let me go over here. No, I'm looking green there. Go back over here, and no, it says the health is. Well, it did say I was getting orange at 7:15. So, all right. So, man, oh no, now it's going fast. Okay. So, oh great, Inga, you missed everything. Crap, you missed everything I said. Probably, anyways. So maybe it's buffering on your side. All right, let me swing back over here. Look at the comments where we're at. Okay, so I'm going to scroll back up. So Debbie had said, My Serenity, sometimes there are awesome programs available that help single parents get jobs, training, and childcare while preparing for the future. That's actually a really great point. I think my ex probably benefited from that as well. So, going back to school and doing something to where you can take care of yourself and are not dependent upon your ex is a really good thing to do. It's not. Yeah, and I don't know if Debbie wants to talk about it, but she said she benefited from something like that in her younger days. And she was able to get, not her master's degree through it. I think if I remember correctly, you got your bachelor's degree through that. And then you had to deal with your master's on your own. Okay. Okay. Oh, Tony's off. So now I know you guys. Oh my gosh, I thought you were just in Canada. I didn't realize you were farther out. So 3 a.m. there. So well, thanks for hanging out with us, and thanks for staying up so late. Sorry about that. I hate that whenever you guys on the other side of the planet have to do that. But I'm glad you hung out. Let me see. Great. It scrolled all the way back down. All right. Let's see. My Serenity says 2 babies left when I 2 babies when I left, 1 and 3, now almost 3 and almost 5, sick from years of abuse. My older teens abusing and turning my kids. Man. Yeah, I'm trying to get my. Excuse me. She says I'm trying to get my insurance license. I don't have any money. Susie says, check at a community college, displaced homemaker program. Oh, okay. A good suggestion on that. I'm not that familiar with the specifics on it, but that's a good one. Dee Dee says, Serenity, I went back to school, got a nursing degree. I went to school part-time. They help pay for school. Do you have a program like this? Yeah, see, and that's the thing, guys. It's like you empower yourself. You make yourself not dependent. Now, it's really tough in the midst of this. And here's the thing. More than likely, once you need to get into court, because temporary orders need to be set and you should be getting some support. Now, some people are able to really play that game and still avoid that, but at least you're getting that process started. LJ says, my 4-year-old spent the weekend with her father for the first time in a year. Wow. Days later, she yells out, Mommy, you need to respect Daddy. Be nice to him and have fun with him. Oh, wow. Another day, she said, Mommy... okay, I don't see what else you wrote, but yeah, guys, that's part of the Groundhog Day. Okay, and your continued was, Mommy, you're not a good cooker, reader, and you need to exercise and do jumping jacks. I told Narc X to not badmouth me in front of the kids. He denies it, but he said she heard it, but she said she heard him. Yeah, that's LJ. The problem with that is. It's really tough to do anything with. If you're in the midst of court still, you can get your attorney to basically write that in. I mean, because it's going to be, even if it's done, I mean, all court orders say neither parent will talk bad about it, but it's like, how do you actually prove it? And then what are you going to do? I mean, are you really going to spend $5,000 to $10,000 to go back to court to say, Bill, you know, little Susie says that you're saying this, you need to stop. And the judge will say, now, Bill, you know, you better not do that again, right? And then the next time you have to spend another $5,000 to do it. I mean, it's a really screwed up system. Igna says, courts are very slow with making support orders. Well, hell, they're not slow in my area. Holy cow, they did that pretty quick. But some areas are, where I remember when I was talking to my attorney, he said, if you were in the county over here instead of the county, because we're right on the edge of a county, he said, you know, this in the county you're in, you'll get your court date within a month. In this county, it'll take 6 months. And it's tough because if you're in that situation where you're waiting and they're not paying and they're not ordered to pay, here's the thing though, they're still going to get ordered to pay from the time you filed. So if you filed and your court date is 6 months down the road, well, when you have that court date and they go, Mr. Bill, you owe $3,000 a month in child support and alimony and everything. They turn around and they go, okay, and since it's been 6 months, so it's 3,000 times 6, so that's a lot of money, and now you owe that, and then it's going to be all arrears. So, all right. Okay, let me see where we are here. Actually, I am going to take a pause, and I have a new screen that I'm going to utilize for that. So we're going to take a brief intermission. I'll be back in like five minutes. So stand by one, and I'll be right back. Okay. Oh, I forgot the music. Dang it. Oh, well. I was thinking about it, but I forgot about it. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. It's like killing my back. Okay. All right, let's see where we're at here. See what I missed. I was going to say, that's what the sound effect needs to be. It needs to be whoosh, right? The courtesy flush. Oh, geez, James. Okay. Jeopardy music. Yeah, that would have been good. All right, let me get over here. Oh, I have this backwards now. How did I do that? Oh, that's right, because I closed that. Never mind. I accidentally closed it. All right, so. Oh, so we lost Cigar. So thanks for hanging out with us. I see that you left. So Bear says, night, Cigar. So glad you could join us. Dwayne is awesome and will keep you sane. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Oh, Debbie says to Serenity, please don't despair and don't give up. I felt so scared to not anymore. And see, that's the thing. We get so wrapped into this situation, and we go through these catastrophic thinking that really just torpedoes our progress. So, oh, that's funny. Wow, My Serenity for Life says he must come to my home to watch them. He's living in his car. Huh. Is he living in his car because he's trying to make it out that he has no money, so you're not going to get any support, or is he legitimately broke? Interesting. Hum. Dee Dee says, Serenity, so let him stay at the house to help with the kids. And in Serenity, I mean, the main thing is you've got to find a way to get out from under needing to being dependent, because there's a lot of people on the channel who are in various states of either going back to school or working on their career. And I mean, if you're working on it, I mean, there's one person who I haven't seen. I need to reach out to her. I haven't heard from her in a while. Where working on her nursing degree. I know a lot of you guys have talked about that, but struggling now. And it's like, look, you may be struggling now, but just push through this and get to the point to where you can basically restart your life. I mean, it sucks with the timing and the fact that you're, starting over, but I mean, you can start over. Oh, my Serenity, the comment on the car was, is he living in the car because he has no other place to live and he's broke? Or is he living, quote unquote, in the car because he's trying to portray that he has no money and isn't able to do anything? So. All right, let me see what else is going on. So my Serenity says, Debbie, some days I feel so stuck and hopeless. I think that is a reoccurring thing that happens with most of us, right? And now your situation financially is obviously worse than mine, but I remember feeling stuck and hopeless myself. I felt that things were never going to get better. It was going to be horrible, and things were just, my whole life was basically over. I think all of us go through that, and it's just a matter of you have to basically take a step back, take a new look at your life, and start to rebuild it. Start to change the priorities. Start to do things differently, and it's really tough. My Serenity says, living in car and refuses to live with family, wants to be close to hurt me. Oh yeah, probably. Which, that's, and so the next question is there any way that you can get away? James F says, Serenity, I've come a long way. Like Debbie says, one day you'll help others. It'll be awesome. And it's tough. And see, here's the tough part. The people who've been through it, like James and what Debbie was saying, and I'm sure some other people have said it too. It's like it gets better, right? But then you're sitting there going, how the hell does it get better? I don't have a future. I'm out of money. I can't buy food. I don't have any skills. I can't get a job. I can't, you start pushing all this stuff. And that's what everybody does. And the thing is just slow yourself down. I mean, one, you have to get this divorce thing done, right? I mean, if you're doing that, you have to progress through that. And then look for the resources. Like there are a lot of resources out there, and you start starting over. And just, you can't be looking at tomorrow. You got to be looking at 5 years, 10 years down the road. And what happens is that once you start seeing a future and you start seeing something, and right now you're not there yet because you don't have the resources, and you're in that like, oh my God, my whole support system has obliterated. I have these responsibilities. I can't get a job because I have these young kids. I can't do this because of that. And a lot of times when we look at our situation, there's other people who've been in similar situations and they've worked through it. And it's a matter of taking a step back and objectively looking at your situation and finding solutions that may not be solutions that you're happy with, but solutions that will help propel your life, right? And the first part of it is just, okay, so a lot of times, and this is what happened with me when I was really having a hard time with everything, it was like, at least I'm not in that environment anymore. Now, granted, I'm the one who makes the money, right? So I have a job so that, they were pulling money. They were garnishing money from me to give to her. And guys, here's the frustrating part for me on this is when I look at the situation that you guys are in, and then I look at the situation that my ex was in, it's like she deserves to be, Serenity, she deserves to be in your situation. No support, having to actually struggle, actually have to do something, right? I've had conversations with Debbie about this. It's really frustrating where Debbie's working her butt off, trying to better herself, literally trying to better herself and paying for stuff and, trying to work and everything. And then we have my ex who is getting, probably more money than she's making now from me. I mean, it's like, she is making, my ex is still making a ton of money off of me. It's money that it would be a decent salary for somebody. Now it's going to go down, right? I mean, it's not going to be there forever, but she has, my ex. See, here's the other thing. 6 years, right? Imagine this, guys. So Serenity, imagine this. Imagine a situation where you had somebody who was giving you child support and alimony, and you didn't have to work. You didn't have to worry about your bills. And, if you're smart, you go to school, you just, jump on it to get yourself to where you could be self-sufficient. My ex isn't. She, I don't like to say I like to say but she isn't. She went to school because I said I was going to go back and force a reduction in child support for, there's a thing in California called a Gavron warning, which says you have to get off your butt and do something. So she went to school, and she only went to school to reset the clock. And, and so she did that for 2 years. I mean, it's been almost, she'll have graduated. No, a year this month, April, May. Yeah, because school's almost over. So she's been graduated with her paralegal degree, associate's degree, and hasn't got a job. Now, here's the other thing, okay? And I'll get off this because this isn't necessarily helping, but she can't get a job, quote unquote, is what the kids say, because she doesn't have any experience. Well, if you're getting paid a decent amount of money from your ex, freaking go do an internship, right? Say, hey, you want a year of experience? I'll do it. I'll do it as an intern. I'll do it for free. Let me go do it but she won't do it. That's not what it's about, right? So then I see you guys who are struggling, who have been just basically run through the ringer. You're dealing with these toxic personality types, and you're not getting any support from it. It's infuriating for me to see you guys go through that stuff. And I probably shouldn't even gone down that road, so I apologize on that. Let's see. Joe says, Dwayne, Rick Warren, How to Heal a Broken Heart. Is that a book? That sounds like a. Let me come over here. Rick Warren, How to Heal. I do not see. Okay, so I couldn't find it. All right, so I thought I would do a search on it. I didn't see it, so no joy on there. So, all right, let me scroll back down. Let's see. James says to Trini, take it slow and process through the emotions you'll go through. It's necessary. Don't push them down, which is absolutely spot on. Deal with them as they come, because if you push them down, they're going to come back and blow up in your face. My Trini says, I know I wish I could. He's not dependable on anything. I'm in food stamps because he wouldn't give me enough money to feed 8 kids. And you know what? And Serenity, you need to, okay, excuse me. You need to look at other assistance programs. You also need to look at in California, you have a D-care thing. So if you're on food stamps, I think that's on one of them, you get reduced electricity, reduced gas for heating. So there's ways to lower some of the other costs for things, and you have to look into that stuff. If you're on food stamps, you probably should also look at, I don't know all the programs because I don't qualify for them, but there's other things that will help. My Serenity says he won't pay on time support. Nope. What'll happen with that is once it's enforced, your local child support services department will make his life a living hell. Yeah, Dee Dee says internships don't pay. I did an internship, no pay. Childcare is expensive. She doesn't. She doesn't need childcare. The kids, you know what I mean? She could do it during she'd have to work anyways. And when I say I know it's no pay, she's getting paid for me. She's getting a lot of money from me. She's still living off me, right? She pays her rent, her house, her car, her clothes, her food. I mean, everything. I'm paying for it all. So she's a moron for not taking this opportunity to get the experience she needs to do it, right? I get it, right? I mean, if she could find someplace that'll hire her, but personally, I don't think she really wants to work. I don't think that she's really struggling or really hustling to find a job. Debbie says, Bears, thanks for your input earlier about state funds. Sometimes I forget the new budget comes out each summer. Oh, that's a good point. Excuse me. And Serenity says, I'm trying to get a work from home job. I've got health issues. I really couldn't handle any more stress. Hey, you know what, Serenity? Have you seen the thing that Angie, geez, I can't believe I forgot her name. Angie Atkinson's doing. Man, it looks like I'm having stream problems. Let me see if I can pull this up. Actually, I think I have it bookmarked. So let me see if I can find it. Though I do have a lot of bookmarks. Angie's doing this thing to basically help people learn how to do from home businesses. And her whole purpose of this, you know what? Hold on. I did an interview with her about this. Hold on a second. Let me do it this way. All right. So I'm going to go to Chrome. If you go down here, and this interview with Angie, right? Let me see if I have it. All right. Let's see. Angie Atkinson, empath entrepreneur. So go to this video. Wow, that is just like, hold on a second, guys. That's just wrong. There we go. I got it. There we go. That's better than the other. I mean, it's still bad, but that's a better face. Anyways, she has this empath entrepreneur site that she's starting with the whole purpose of this to help people do that, right? To do. Oops, hold on. I'm talking to the camera and it's not even on me. To look at how to create your own business, right? And when I watch the interview too, because she talks about it, and what she says, part of what it is she was talking about in a situation when you're in a relationship with a narcissistic person, because they're going to torpedo everything you do anyways. So she's like, hey, start working on this, start building this side business, this side hustle. Your ex or your partner at the time more than likely is going to just demean it, and you just pretend that it's like, oh, I'm not doing anything on it. So you're building another thing. Check into it, My Serenity for Life, because it is amazing how many people are making money online and in YouTube and email marketing and stuff like that. I would absolutely check the stuff out. Obviously, she has a pay mastermind group, but she does. I don't know if she's still putting out the videos. I don't think I hit the bell notification because I haven't got a notification in a while. But check that out because that's what her whole thing. Excuse me. With geez, I also lost my train of thought. But that's one of the things she's working on, and that's why I wanted to bring her on, and that's why I did that interview, because I thought that was really phenomenal of what the resources she was putting out on there. And let me see, where are we at? Liz says, yes, the economy is very difficult, and economists claim it will get worse. Yeah. Inga says, it's been horrible for the last 10 years. Yeah, it's been tough. I mean, things are just now starting to get better where I'm at. My Serenity says, I love Angie. Yeah, check out her stuff on that. I mean, we get so focused on dealing with the narcissistic stuff and this emotional stuff. This is why I would also encourage you, My Serenity for Life, check out Spiritually Empowered's channel, because she's really working to I'm trying to think of the right word for it, but to change your mindset to I guess basically draw positive and good to you, right? I mean, that's a really it's dumbing it down, but really great information. I would encourage you to check her out. The stuff that Debbie, I I said Debbie instead of Angie. Angie Atkinson. Here, let me come back over here. Okay, so her main channel, which is her 41,000. Holy cow. She is on fire. Holy cow, 41,000 subscribers. Okay, so this is Angie Atkinson. She does daily videos like Leslie does. Daily live streams, and then has other videos. I mean, she is just a beast in this stuff. She does a Tuesday collaboration live stream with I can't remember the name now. From Thriving to Surviving? No. From Dana Morningstar. There it is. One of these. Hold on. She also does
Shopping is fun.
With Dana Morningstar, and her channel name is, I don't remember. Why can I not remember? This is annoying. Crap. Well, you guys know what I'm talking about. Somebody else will throw it in the comments, I'm sure. So that's who we're talking about with Angie. Definitely check her out. She does a lot of great stuff on the narcissistic abuse recovery side, and this empath entrepreneur thing, I think, is just phenomenal. Let me go to that channel here. A lot of great information. I mean, I try to listen to those videos because she comes up with really good, just, business type stuff. But that's what this whole thing, this whole site, this whole thing that she's working on here. I mean, so think about it, right? She's got 41,000. See, I'm talking to myself again. She's got 41,000 subscribers on that other channel. But because she's so impassionate about this, she's created this whole other channel. Now, granted, obviously there's some business side of it for her as well. But, she's working on this thing to help people get their lives back and find ways to make money, to be creative on and not open-minded, but just open to new ideas. Thrive after abuse. Thank you, Aveline. Thank you. I could not remember. That's annoying that I couldn't remember that. I should have remembered that. Okay, man. I think I felt like I just drank a bunch more coffee or something. Yeah, for a while there, Thriving to Surviving has been stuck on my head because we were trying to do some collaboration stuff. And technically, I always say Surviving to Thrive, or Thriving to, see, I do that. I always get it backwards. Thriving to Surviving. What the? Debbie's always correcting me on that. It's like, you're saying it backwards. I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. I'm not doing that intentionally. That's not what I'm trying to do. So yeah, Amy, check her out. She's good peeps. So, and she's been a great friend to this channel. She's had me on a couple of her shows, a couple of her events. So, she's really great. All right, let me see where else we got going on. I already did the Angie, what her full name is. Bear says 41K narcissism is rampant. Yes, it is. Inga says, oh my God, I love Dana. Okay, please guys, don't tell her that I completely had a brain fog on her channel name. Oh, I feel bad about that because she's pretty amazing. She's the first person I saw doing 3-hour live streams. I'm like, how do you do 3-hour live streams? I have my intermission without music. I can't sit here for 3 hours. I've done it before a couple of times, but it's not easy. All right. Okay, cool. All right. So I've hit that topic too much. Ursula Sims. Holy cow. I haven't seen you in forever. Welcome to to a live show. I haven't seen you in the comments or anything in a while. Yeah, you know what? That's a good question. Thanks. We needed to roll this back into the topic. So let me. That's a great question. So let me grab this, Lisa, and throw this in a slide. So the comment was, so again, Dwayne, basically keep calm and endure the smear campaign. Yeah, and I know that you can read that depending on where you're at with this. It could be kind of triggering, and I know people get triggered by me saying the word triggered. But you want to keep calm. You don't want to take that bait, and you want to focus on your response and your actions, and make sure that your actions and your words line up. Actually, you want to make sure that your actions make it to where you don't even have to say it. You know, you don't want to say, I'm an involved parent, and then like, see, I'm an involved parent, right? You want to just basically keep focused on demonstrating that whatever that smear campaign is trying to say you are isn't. Now, and what you would do then is if a flying monkey or a surrogate turns around and says, you're just a bad parent, you don't do whatever. And it's like, oh, really? But, then you can say, well, okay, I don't understand why you're saying that, because where did you hear that from? I mean, because I take the kids to, like for instance, my ex used to like to say, that she took the kids to all the doctor's appointments. That happened whenever we were going through one of the mediations. And that the comment was that I was suing her for her past medical bills. And her comment was, I don't he doesn't take the medical, he doesn't take the kids to any of the appointments. And I'm like, I have $1,000 worth of past due medical that that you haven't paid, that I've took the kids to. What are you talking about, right? And that's the type of thing. It's a dead end story. Whenever you're trying to attack or defend yourself with the smear, you get drug. It's like a pig in mud. It's not worth it. Focus on demonstrating by your actions that you're not what they're trying to say. Does that make sense, Lisa? Does that answer? And thanks for bringing that back around. Okay, let's see. Inga says, I'm funny. What did I do? What did I do this time? Oh, dear God. Okay. Mike says, your use of the word trigger is a microaggression. That video I did on Caleb Leverett, I made trigger warnings, and I have gotten so much hate on that. I mean, I've been called names for that, and just a lot of vitriol. And it's like, that's why a lot of times I'll use emotional trigger, because it's a little bit less triggering or emotional flashbacks, right? Because that's really what it is. Whenever you have one of those experiences, one of those PTSD experiences, it's an emotional flashback, really, is what's happening. Natasha M. I think I haven't seen you in a while either, so glad you're on. Says, most of the time we don't even know there's a smear campaign going on. That's absolutely true. We don't talk to the narcissist. We don't talk to the narcissist circle. Yeah, see, that's the hard part, is because, and that's typically, actually, you're right. That's typically what happens is you're being smeared. They'll be nice to you. They'll be like, hi, you want some, here, have some tea, while they're undermining you everywhere they can do. And that happens a lot at work too. So very good point. Spiritually Empowered says, okay, sisters and misters, this gal has to jump. Thank you, Dwayne, for another master class of edutainment. I will message you tomorrow for a catch up, sending so much healing, love, and support to all. Yeah, guys, if you can, try to check her stuff out. She is Canadian time, so she's 3 hours ahead. So if you are available, I would absolutely check out her channel. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick, because I had, so look for Leslie Powers and Spiritually Empowered. That's her channel. Oh, that's her. Oh, thanks. But she does every morning, unless she stopped. She does, where is it at? Live shows, and I'm not finding the one she did. So that was one from yesterday. And so I think it's a great way to start your day. It's kind of similar to what Angie's doing, a little different. Her focus is a little different. And I would encourage you to check her out and give her some support and follow her YouTube channel as well. Okay. Let's see. Now I got to get back on the right screen. And I'm going to try to wrap this up, because if I can finish this before I hit the 2-hour mark, then YouTube won't take hours to process this thing. So we're running up on the 2-hour mark. So we're going to wrap this up. I think we had a really great discussion tonight. I hope you guys appreciated it. I always appreciate all the stuff you guys throw out there. A lot of great comments. Oh, we're having a lot of people who are just coming on now. What a bummer. Nevik MC, have not seen you in a while. Welcome. Says, how are you, Dwayne? I am good, Nevik. I am doing pretty good. I was sick last week, but I'm feeling better this week. Yeah, glad to see you on. Thanks for checking us out, and thanks for jumping on a live stream. I hope you're doing well. Are you doing well as well? Lisa says, ugh, I wish there was an exit from this nonsense instead of just enduring the abuse. Lisa, that is a very good point. Oh, I forgot to mention the Discord. Thanks, Old Shawnee Road, but I want to hit this point. You know, the thing is, Lisa, what happens is you disempower your ex because what happens is the power that we give them to control our emotions, to get us angry, to get us to get us triggered, it goes away. And it's not like anything changes. It goes back to what I was talking about before. It's your priority and what you focus your energy on changes. And you have this fundamental shift where, and I said shift, where you decide you're not going to give them any more power. So it's like they I mean, yeah, they're still a gnat. There's still a little, little buzz in your ear and, a dog nipping at your ankle or whatever. But as time goes on, their ability to control and manipulate you goes down. It sucks because we don't get the justice that we want and we don't get the resolution that we want. It's a fundamental shift within our own mind and our own hearts that really makes this a lot better. And I think that's important to say because I know whenever people would say, well, it just gets better. It's like, how in the hell does this get better? I have a person who's systematically undermining everything, has destroyed everything financially I've ever created, is systematically trying to alienate me from the kids. How in the world is this going to get better? Well, it gets better because you change your focus from them to you and the other priorities in your life, which are probably your kids, and they become part of the noise floor. All right. That one I might have to, oh my God. Okay, so what is the deal? All these old folks, not old folks, but old viewers are just like showing up. Ask the young one, oh my God, Shannon, I haven't seen you forever. It says, finally caught alive. How are you all doing? Man, guys, and I'm getting ready to shut this down. But this is like a blast from the past tonight. Really great to see all you guys. That is awesome. Cindy says, DSD, thank you once again, and so glad you're feeling better. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Still not 100%. I'm actually surprised that I was able to run 2 hours, to be honest. Lisa says, question off topic, but can you do a video about finding a partner who will deal with this nightmare with me? Yeah, actually, you know what? Lisa, have you ever seen the live show that Debbie and I did? I think it was 62. Did you ever see that one? Actually, if not, if you guys are interested, no, what button did I hit? Oh, okay, that's not bad. I just hit a button which reloaded everything on my let's see. If you go down to, on the main page, you go down to the live shows and you go to all the past live shows and you scroll down to number, I think it's 62. Dating post toxic divorce. That was a really long show that Debbie and I did. Excuse me. So, let me pause this. And let's see, let me get to there we go. Excuse me. Oh, I'm getting all phlegmy. Where we talked a lot about that. So I should make, yes, I will make more videos on that. But in the meantime, I would, wow, that's only got 828 views. Huh. I would check that out because we talked a lot about all the stuff that led up to with that and what she had to go through. Okay. So yeah, okay. It was not 62. I probably should rename that because I should do something different to feature that because actually, you know what? Debbie and I just need to do another show together. Okay. James F says, your justice is that they will be miserable their whole life and you are free from the tormented soul. That's simply very true. Shane says, Mike, thank God, thought that was serious. I missed that. Amy says, absolutely love what you're doing. And everyone that's a regular. Oh, okay. So for you new people or for the people who showed up, I have a Discord, a DSD, Dad Surviving Divorce Discord server. If you're not familiar with what Discord is, it's an online like IR. It's kind of like what this is right now, okay? But in a dedicated server that is up all the time, and it has different sections or channels on it. You can get to that. Let me go back over here and go to the main channel. So just any video, just click DSD, because I did change my name to make it a little smaller. On the far right of, whoops, I went in the wrong screen. Over here is a link for an invite. If you click on that, it will take you to Discord and allow, or basically give you a thing into it. Let me do this. Discord is a standalone service that's free that you can run via web browser or dedicated app on PC and Mac, or on Linux and your iOS device or your Android device. The community is really growing. We're up to about 100 people on there. There's a lot of conversation on it, a lot of really good information. Alex Falcone from The Proper Person spends a lot of time on there answering questions and promoting his Minecraft game. So I would definitely recommend you check that out. And because that has been a tremendous resource. I've been really happy with that. And okay, so before I completely shut this down, let me go back. If you guys can, come over here. No, not there. I want to go here to the website. If you can email me directly from the website, dadsurvivingdivorce.com. This will send it right. It's Dwayne at dadsurvingdivorce, but this will open your email client with it. You can do it through a contact form here. If you want to be a part of the mailing list, fill out this form, and I will send you typically weekly. Sometimes I'm not completely up on that. You might need to add me in as a contact, because more than likely, if you don't, it's going to think it's spam and delete it. If you want to support the channel and help me keep doing what I'm doing, you can do that through a donation there. I am working on a Patreon thing. I know, though I've been saying that for a while. You can leave me a voicemail here. And I think that's pretty much what I'm going to go through for this one. I know I've been remiss in adding new videos. I've just been sick and with the kids for spring break, and I'm just behind. So not exactly where I want to be on that, but I am still going to make videos. I just haven't been able to. Okay. On that, guys, thank you for hanging out. For the people who just showed up at the end that I haven't seen in a while, man, it was great to see your guys' names pop up. I hope you guys are all doing well. I would love to hear from you. Just drop me a line, drop me an email. Hopefully you guys are all doing great. Let's see. Right. Debbie says, thanks, James F. It's hard to put yourself out there when not used to it. And all right, I'm just double checking on that. Okay, guys, have a great evening. I'll see you next Tuesday for a live show. Not sure what I got going on this weekend. I have some ideas. I'm just trying to finalize it. And yeah, worst case, I will see you guys live right here, 6 p.m. Pacific, for the 83rd. Wow, 83rd live show next week. Here's the thing. If you have a topic that maybe we didn't hit, join the Discord. In the Discord, there is a live chat area and a question and suggestion area. Put a suggestion for a topic. A couple of weeks ago, the topic was recommended by a user Merge, who had an issue that's what the whole live stream was about. So, we could target a show on an issue that you're specifically dealing with. On that, guys, have an outstanding evening. Thank you again for all your support. Thank you again for the great community of people. You guys are phenomenal. I mean, the regulars are great. The new people come in, you guys accept them in. It's just every time I do these, I'm really proud of the group of people we have here. So on that, have a good night, and I will chat with you on the next video. Take care.